There's folks that are going to be a part of this that have been a part of the machinery of death. There's folks that have beaten on guns with us that have taken someone else's life, and they're praying for the healing of their own hearts. There's folks who are here that have worked for weapons contractors and folks that have served in the military and become conscientious objectors. And one of those is our next voice, Diana Oestreich, who's going to share a little of her story of going to combat and feeling her calling into peacemaking. Give it up for Diana.
All right. Well, before I can tell you my peacemaking story, I really have to tell you my war story. And it, like, just so you know, war was nothing like I imagined. I was 23 years old, and I knew it all, because doesn't everybody know it at 23? 9/11 had happened. I was 23, and I was part of the invasion of Iraq. And so we pushed over there, and I had a gun strapped to my chest and a combat medic bag on my back. And we'd only been there a week, and we were getting our briefing on how we were headed into enemy territory the next day. And at the very end, the sergeant says, by the way, it's an enemy tactic to push little Iraqi children in front of American military convoys in order to ambush the soldiers at the rear. He says, I hope you understand your duty to keep the convoy rolling at all costs tomorrow. Stand up now and identify yourself if you're not able to do your duty. The tent was quiet, and it just sat. And my heart started to beat, and before I knew like what I was gonna do, he just yelled dismissed. And so like my cowardly little heart got to like go out the tent. But walking back to my tent, I spent the night, and we were leaving the next day. So I had 8 hours to decide what to do. And I remember just laying there and praying, oh God. Like everything that I knew told me this was okay. My faith, my country told me that to serve God, serve in the military was to serve God. And if I took a life, then it really ultimately would be taking a life for God. But like my heart was being ripped apart in my chest. And then in the middle of the night, I just heard God's voice speak like a thunderclap. I love them, Diana. I love them too. And it was like a mama bear was just up on her hind legs, roaring in my face with her cubs behind her. I love them too. And in a minute, the tension broke, and I knew it was true. Everything I had learned said that God was love. Everything I knew told me that God's love was unconditional. Loved me just as much as he loved an Iraqi child. So I knew no matter what happened, I was never going to take a life. That no matter the commitment I had made to this uniform, that I was going to be a citizen of the kingdom of God first, and part of my country second. And so the next day, I just knew that no matter what, I was never going to take a life. So the next day, we convoyed in enemy territory, and kids ran alongside our truck, but no kids were pushed in front. Whew. But what was I going to do now? I'm a soldier in a war who didn't believe in killing. I believed in loving my enemies. I believed that no matter what I was taught to wage war, I knew that I was going to wage peace, that I would sacrifice myself for anybody. I would fight with love instead of guns and violence. So it sounded good, but I didn't know what to do. So I was there a whole nother year, and one of the people that I met there, I was walking along this little dirt road, and it was really hot, and all of a sudden I see this door open, and I see these big eyes look at me behind. And this woman, head to toe, in the black modesty cloak, gives me the universal, come in, look. And in a minute, my feet just got like nailed to the ground, and I felt the panic, because I was like, why is she inviting an enemy soldier with a gun behind the safety of her home? And I looked around, and all of a sudden I had no battle buddies with me. Nobody knew where I was. But something drew me to her. And in an instant, I just knew that burning in your chest to the spirit saying, like, don't miss this. And so in a minute, I knew I was either going to go behind there and trust someone I didn't know was trustworthy, who I didn't know what she was going to do to me or not, or I could just play it safe and act like I didn't see her. But I walked through that door, and her name was Hassan. She put her arms around me, and she laughed, and she brought me into her home, and I would sit in her home and drink tea with her family for the rest of the war. And she was the first person who showed me what love could do. She was the first person to show me what waging peace instead of waging war looked like, because she fought for all of us, not just her side and not just her people. And now I had grown up in church, Wednesday night, Sunday evening, Baptist, all the way down for the baptism up top, Bible camp in the summer, but I had never once seen a Christian who actually showed me what loving first meant, where Jesus gave himself up for us while we were yet still his enemies. But this woman, who my country had told me to fear and to see as an enemy, a Muslim, dark brown woman from Iraq, she showed me what love looked like, and it was freedom. And so I never could live without that freedom again. So I came home being somebody who believed in waging peace instead of waging war, and that was not cool right after 9/11. But it changed my whole life. And the violence that I had been raised to do here, the first time I could see it was over there in Iraq. But when I came home, I could see what we were doing. I could see who mattered and who didn't. I could see what our military was harming, the violence in our streets, the policies. And so waging peace meant to me that as much as I was trained to wage war, I was going to commit to waging peace. That every time violence struck someone in my community, it was the heck yeah. I would always show up. So waging peace is how we disarm violence. And it's how we choose love first. And I have seen it change the place in my community. I've seen it change back in Iraq. We've marched for Gaza. There's so much power in peace. And I believe that that's the call of our time and of our faith. So come to our workshop tomorrow. We'll show you a little bit more.
Yeah, in fact, give it up for Diana.